Eva Mercer with Accelerize. Welcome to our advisory series on vetting the solution for your organization. In our last video, we talked about how to find the champions for your project, mapping the workflow, gathering the requirements, creating a selection committee, identifying a target list of vendors, creating an RFP and schedule. In this video, we're going to talk about actually creating a vendor matrix. This vendor matrix is going to have three important areas. 1, looking at your vendor requirements. 2, looking at how to create the actual matrix. And an evaluation point system, which will help you look at your solution and the vendor very objectively. So what goes in the vendor matrix? One of the key things is the features and benefits. What features that are must-haves, like to have, and wish list. So what goes as far as features? What are the cool things to have? What kind of requirements that you need? Maybe have some essential features. The next important part is the technology elements. So what goes into the technology elements? Is it easy to use? Does it have flexibility? Does it have security? Does it have virus protection? Does it have the key information for a hardware, software, and applications perspective? The third thing you want to look at is product stability. Product stability is very important because you need to know when you need to do upgrades, how long upgrades will last, what kind of backups are done, and how long will you have for a downtime in case something goes wrong with your product solution. Next thing is security backups. It's important to know what are your backup policies, how long you're going to back it up, how long it stays in your system, and how quickly you can fail over. Environmental need. This is very important because this is going to help you decide what you need from your organization from a resource perspective. Everything from hardware, software, technical resource, and also communication infrastructure and network. What do you need to support this project? The next is to actually evaluate the vendor itself, and most important, the vendor stability. You want to look at how long they have been in business, how many number of clients, their references, and future direction of where the company is going and where it's headed. General impressions. How well did they respond to the RFP? Were they friendly? Were they responsive? Were they very positive? Next is timeframes for deployment. Does the timeframes and all the requirements meet your expectations of when you want the solution in place? Costs are very important because this will set the budget and what your future investment is in this solution. Training and support. How long are they going to provide training? What kind of training? And what kind of support they're going to be moving forward with going forward. And then there's several different contract considerations that you want to look at. And we're going to be talking a lot about the different contract strategies in the next video. Not only contract strategies are important, but they will also set the stage of how it is to move forward in the future. Now that you have all this information, you're going to create a point system. This point system is going to help you evaluate and look at each one of these key areas objectively. You can do a 0 to 2 point system. 0 meaning it did not meet expectations, 1 met expectations, and 2 exceeded expectations. It's important to not have this point system so complicated because you want it to be very simple and very objective. The next is a weighted point system. This weighted point system will help you evaluate what areas are very critical or important to your organization. I would suggest a 1 to 4 point system. 1 being not critical, 2 not critical, nice to have, 3 critical, and 4 is a critical must have. The following is just a very simple example. Let's say the example for a requirement is training will be provided. The organization says the expectation is that training will be on site. 3 different vendors gave 3 different answers. Vendor 1 says training will be train the trainer. Vendor 2 says there'll be training, but it's provided via web. Vendor 3 says there'll be on-site training, but additional web training can also be available. So how do you look at this? If you kind of look at it, vendor 1 and vendor 2 both met expectations, but vendor 3 really exceeded expectations. That's why we give them a 2 points. Vendor 1 and vendor 2 also provided a critical point, so they got 3 points from a weighted perspective. But vendor 3, because not only they're going to give you 3-day training on site, they'll give you additional training via web, you actually give it a 4 point because it's a critical must-have. So if you look at the points, the total points, the vendor 3 actually has the highest number of points. From this example, you can see that vendor 3 is the forerunner. Now take the same concept and apply to all the other requirements using the same point system and the same weighted system and you'll be able to objectively pick the right solution and the right vendor. So in this video, we talked about how to create a vendor matrix. And part of that vendor matrix is to look at what are the requirements that's necessary, how to create the actual matrix, and how to use the point system to help evaluate the vendor. This will help you pick the right solution and the right vendor. Follow our company on LinkedIn to see more of our advisory series videos. Also, we're doing a one-time free Uncovering Value assessment. This is a high-level roadmap. This will help you look at your organization from a workflow, cost-effective, and a network perspective. This is Ziva Mercer with Accelerize, bringing value beyond IT.